Leslie Claybrook, thank you so much for being here with us this morning on the Momentum Matters podcast. We've been super excited about this interview, and we rarely get a chance to speak with women in your domain of sports administration. So this is a real treat for us and for our listeners.
Great. Thanks, April, for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this podcast and work with you guys further as we grow a partnership and getting you guys involved with the Birmingham Squadron.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to start out by telling our audience a little bit about where you grew up and your early family life and sort of how you got into the path of sports basketball and the world of sports administration, because there just aren't a lot of women who do that.
Right. I grew up in Luverne, Alabama, which is just south of Montgomery. My mom, I was raised by a single parent mom who was 25 years old when she divorced my father and had 4 kids under the age of 5. I am a twin. I have an older brother and an older sister. And so when she divorced, she moved back in with her mom and dad, who were very instrumental in helping raise us and instilling values in us. And we grew up on a farm, which I can't imagine any other life other than that and that experience and helping me grow to where I am today. But my mom went back to college, earned a degree, and started working for the government and had a chance to move around to get promotions, which was unheard of at that point in time. And so my sister and I left and traveled with her. My brother stayed with my grandparents and went to Luverne High School. And my sister and I ended up going to St. James, my sister to Prattville. And through that travel, I fell in love with sports and had the opportunity to play several different sports, but my passion was basketball, and had some really great coaches along the way and mentors in that area. And one of them was Linda Funderburk, who was the head coach at St. James and had promised my mom that she would help me along the way and help me get a scholarship. And I had the opportunity to interview or try out, if you will, for several different places for colleges, and the University of Alabama fell in place at the last minute. April of my senior year, they made a coaching change, and Coach Moody came in and brought an assistant coach with him, Dottie Kelso, who had been my AAU coach and got me to Alabama to play. And so that's how I ended up at Alabama playing. And then from there, I knew I wanted to try coaching. And so I coached for a couple of years after Alabama at Mercer University, and then realized I wasn't going to be very successful talking to 18 to 22-year-olds on the recruiting trail, but be more successful in helping shape their lives once they were at college. And so I found my passion in college athletic administration and started my path there, moving around to several different places. From Troy University, I went to an internship at the SEC office, was there 2 years. It was interviewing at several different places and all around the country, and ended up about 2 miles away at Birmingham Southern College that was transitioning from NAIA to Division I, which had never been done before. So I was there 7.5 years, and then moved over to Samford University here in Birmingham as well, and had not really been looking for other opportunities because I'd only been there a year, and then opportunity at Rice University to continue to grow professionally and personally and elevate not only my title, but my responsibilities, and to learn from different mentors from across the country. And so I took that shot. Moving from Alabama was a big deal for me. And I had got engaged at that point in time. And so my husband came with me, and we had a life for 4.5 years in Houston and loved it. Our daughter was born out there. And then the SEC called and offered me an opportunity to be assistant commissioner to grow women's basketball. And from there, was there 9 years, and then transitioned to a consulting job. And then the Birmingham Squadron started here 2 years ago in Birmingham, and we're looking for a general manager, and interviewed the first time around, and had a great interview, wonderful experience. They ended up going in a different direction, which I totally understood, and then came back for year 2 and asked if I was interested to come back and be the general manager. And I said, I'd love to. And here I am leading a G League team here in Birmingham, Alabama, one of only a few handful of women in this position and role, and loving every minute of it, and still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's great.
Well, Leslie, it sounds like your mother was an extraordinarily strong and independent woman and probably shaped a lot of your independence and resilience in your early childhood. Would you say that is accurate?
Absolutely. Between her and my grandmother, her mom, who, because we grew up on a farm and times were tough, had to work herself. And so to see her get up every day and my grandmother go to work and be a strong woman and leader in a time period of which, women weren't really working. They were staying at home, being a good housewife on the farm and having meals prepared when they got home. So she was doing it all. She went to work, brought home the money, put the meals on the table, took us to church, raised us right. And then to see my mom to have 4 kids and to go back to college at night and work during the day and to learn from that experience and then take a job where she traveled and had to move around and take us with her. I mean, it's just, that was the traditional family for us. So I don't know any different from families that I visit with. My husband comes from a 2-parent home. And so for me to see that with him is different than what I lived, but I wouldn't trade anything that I experienced and what my mom and grandmother taught me along the way of working hard. Times are going to be tough. Challenges are going to be presented to you. Life's not going to be fair sometimes, but being able to pivot and to grow and to learn from that and to keep forging is the only way to do it. I mean, you had to. She had to be providing for her 4 children. She wanted us to be successful, and we all are. We're all college graduates and all professionals now and in the workforce and making a difference for our companies and for our families. And it's great.
That's absolutely amazing. What a great role model. When did you find out, like going out there into the world, that it wasn't really like that for all women? Sort of that realization of how extraordinary that was for your mom.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint it an exact moment in time, but just hearing stories along the way from my teammates and then from people that I work with. And I would just share, like I shared with you, of, hey, this is what my mom and my grandmother had to do. And they were all like, really? They did that? And really came to fruition when I saw my mom's retirement party and the people that stood up and talked about her. And I knew these names along the way from conversations that she would have. And most of them were positive, but the frustrations of work too would spill over to the home. And I would hear her speak of, the various leaders that she worked with and how she would improve upon that if she were in those positions. But to hear people speak of her kindness and her work ethic and her ability to get along with it, lots of people, and just how she took care of not only her responsibilities at work, but at home, and really made a difference for us, was pretty special to hear other people share that story about her. And that, that just continued to reinforce the things in my perspective and values that I tried to bring along in my personal and professional career.
You said that you were a twin. Are you a fraternal or identical twin?
Fraternal.
Fraternal
twin. Twin brother that looks nothing like me, who has been with his company AT&T for 20 plus years.
Wow. And are you the only one out of the 4 kids that played sports?
He played sports, not at the collegiate level, but we were very competitive growing up. We were running around. We had a massive, as you can imagine, on the farm, massive front yard. He and I would get out there and play games just about every afternoon. I mean, that's what you did back then. You got out and played, and we would play, the 2 of us would play baseball together. And we would, if you can imagine that, we would have ghost runners and we would see who could be the most competitive person. And there was this one moment when somebody had brought a golf club to the house, and I was trying to take some swings at a golf ball, and he wanted to take his turn. Well, it wasn't his turn, in my opinion. So I went for a backswing and ended up hitting him in the back of the head. And my sister was there, thankfully, and we had to go to the emergency room and get stitches. But just how competitive we were growing up. And I'm appreciative of that because it's helped me be competitive in my professional career too, and obviously in my athletic career, but understanding, you've got to fight for what you want sometimes, and you've got to be able to take the club and swing it to make a difference. So
hopefully not that kind of difference all the time.
not where you're going to hurt anybody, but you got to be aggressive, and you got to engage, and you got to take that chance.
Sure. Leslie, you shared with me that at certain points in your career, you definitely had some challenges with other personalities and leadership, and had to make some difficult decisions. And I wondered if you would share that experience with our listeners and some of the lessons that you learned from that.
Yeah, I don't think this is unique to me. I think anybody that's been in a professional setting has had challenges along the way with their colleagues and with individuals, and especially when it relates to difficult conversations. And everybody has an opinion on, what they think is right, what they think is wrong. And sometimes those opinions or personalities conflict with others in the office, and it's a matter of how you're going to move forward in those relationships. And unfortunately, sometimes those conversations become personal, they become challenging, and they're not professional anymore. And it's a time to move on and do something different. And sometimes you get to make those decisions to move on, and sometimes other people make those decisions for you. And it's not what you want at that point in time, but it's a matter of learning from those situations, particularly if somebody has decided to move you on, and learning from that and growing from it and figuring out what your next opportunity is going to be. And I was in that situation, and I had a decision to make of whether I was going to go home and curl up on the couch and take it personally, or if I was going to sit back and evaluate and reach out to other mentors and get feedback from them on what I can do moving forward. And to understand that, sometimes it's just a matter of differences of personality. It's not a matter of who you are, or what your work ethic is, or your abilities, and to not let that crumble you to a point where you're not going to believe in yourself, have faith in yourself, and know that you've done great things along the way up until that point, and that you still have a lot to give and to offer to a professional organization. And that's where I was. And I was blessed to have people who lifted me up, who provided opportunities to me, who showed me some new direction and new ways and a new avenue of success. And that's how I frankly ended up at the Birmingham Squadron. And I was thankful for the relationships that I had developed along the way, and the people who really knew me and knew my heart and knew what I was all about. And I think that's carried over now. And now I get to be a part of a team where have the opportunity for us to be successful in Birmingham, but also to grow that next generation of leaders here. We've got a very young staff, sales team that's probably fresh out of college to 25 years old. We've got managers that have had success in their career and are ready for that next step. And so for me to be a part of their lives at this point in time and to learn from them, and hopefully for them to learn from me and to grow this team is pretty special.
Yeah, so one door closed, no matter how hard it feels at the time, can be that next door opened.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a reflection on you and who you are and what you've done. It's just a matter of moving in a different direction for everybody, and then that's okay. And those things happen, and just be confident in who you are and what you believe in, and that there are people out there that believe in you and want to see you be successful and love you and trust you and are on your team.
Leslie, you shared with me that while you were going through that very difficult time professionally, you also lost someone very important to you, your mother, within 30 days of that whole situation. And I was wondering if you could share with our listeners how you handled that collision of trial in your life going on simultaneously.
Yeah, it was hard. It was difficult. Obviously, anybody who's lost a parent knows and understands. And for me, it was my mom, and someone who I'd learned from, not only, growing up and being her daughter, but also someone as a leader and who provided guidance to me in my professional career, and somebody I would talk to on the way home every day and say, Mom, you're not going to believe this. What should I do? And so that was tough. And, like I said earlier, I had a decision to make. I could curl up on the couch, and I did for a little bit, and decide what I wanted to do next. But, that next year and a half or two before I became general manager of the Birmingham Squadron gave me a chance to do things I wanted to do along the way. And I got back into officiating sports, which was a passion of mine. And I know that sounds crazy to think that, but I loved being a part of basketball. And then I got back into softball, something I hadn't done since college. And then I got into volleyball, which is a sport my husband coaches, and he had tried to get me into it for years. So I got to do those things and give back there. I got more involved in my church and was able to serve there more and really be there for my daughter too, who was in 6th grade at the time and really needed somebody to be picking her up every day and not staying in after school care till 6 o'clock, and who was there on the weekends for to do things with her and what she wanted to do. And so my schedule was my schedule, and I got to decide what I wanted to do at that point in time. And that was fun, actually, and memorable. And I was blessed to have that opportunity to do that. And actually substitute taught too, where my husband teaches and coaches, and it was fun to be around his people that he loves and adores, and to give back in that way, because they were at a point in time where they needed help. So I just really tried to stay busy and active, started a consulting company that allowed me an opportunity to stay with my mentors and colleagues out there in the business, where I would help with event management, help them with coaching searches, athletic administrative searches in those areas, and kind of provide insight and guidance on things I knew about individuals who would be successful for them. So that was fun. So, I mean, you've got choices to make when these things happen. And my choice was to get up, get moving, stay active, and find some things to continue to be engaged, and then pray that good things would happen and move along. And it's not always your timing, it's God's timing, and God's timing said, take a break. It's okay. Then come back strong and with a new energy and passion and desire to make a difference with the team. And that's where I am now.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So many women leaders, I think, feel that pressure at some point, whether it's because something big happened where, you had to leave a job, or company downsizes, whatever that might be. Those things do happen. And when we feel those pressures of family on top of profession, it's almost like instead of the ladder, almost like a jungle gym, and you take a side move for a little while. And it sounds like that side move really provided you with a whole level of flexibility and autonomy that was really necessary at that time in your life, not only for you, but also for your daughter.
Yeah, it changed my perspective on things. I was 24/7, 365 gung-ho on making a difference for the organization, and had a passion for it and a desire to make a difference. And I still have that now, don't get me wrong, but it may not be 24/7, 365. I've learned to shut it down. I've learned to understand that things aren't that big of a deal, and figure out what those are, and to let them go. It's not worth it anymore to hang on to things that you're passionate about, but you realize other people aren't passionate about. And so, if it doesn't move the needle for the organization, then, just move on, and that's okay. And, but I still come to work every day with a mindset of what I can do to make a difference for the squadron, what I can do to make a difference for our team that's here, not only our professional staff, but our athletes, and then what I can do for the Birmingham community. And that's what I'm passionate about. And this job has provided that opportunity, because we want to be engaged in Birmingham. We want to make a difference in the community. It's not just putting fans in the stands. It's getting our team out there to make a difference in the lives of young people, and to veterans, to the Veterans Administration, Children's Hospital, wherever it may be, where we can give back and really make a difference.
Yeah, that sounds like a very exciting and rewarding part of the job that you do. I'd like to explore a little bit what it's like to be a woman in sports administration. So, what are some of the things that you learned along the way, and some of the challenges that you might have had going into this very male-dominated field?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't, I don't have a vision that I'm a woman in a male's world or vice versa. I'm a person in an organization and in an industry that is competitive. It's fun. There's a tally at the end of the day of wins and losses. And I'm trying to be a good professional and make a difference in that area. But I understand too the culture and the history of sports has been male dominated. And so I understand that there's some dynamics there of coming in as a woman into that area and space. But for me, it's been a matter of me doing my homework and understanding the role and responsibility and the individuals I'm going to be working with, and having that knowledge so that they know that I know what I'm doing and I'm not just stepping into a role because I am a woman. I'm stepping into this role because I'm the best qualified person. I have a career of success, a runway of success, and I've got some knowledge that's going to be helpful to this team and helping them be successful. And I think if you prepare yourself in that way, and whatever room you walk into or industry, whether it's male dominated or not, you're going to be successful. And you can't underestimate your preparation, education, and the relationships that you've developed along the way that are going to help you be successful in that area too. So when I started here, the head coach, I did some background research and I knew he had been at these different places. So I went in and said, "Oh, my friend so-and-so, or this person who's in the administrative role." "Oh yeah, I know them." We get to talking and making a connection. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, she gets it. She knows basketball. She's done her homework." So I just try to be prepared from that standpoint and engaging. And, the other thing too is I've played the sport. And so I've got some credibility. I coach the sport, so I've got some credibility there too. And that's helpful to me as well, being in a male dominated world. Basketball's basketball. Everybody plays it, male, female, tall, short, whatever it may be. It's a sport for everybody. And, there's some credibility that's built up there because of that, and some experiences that I've had that are helpful to me being successful in the industry.
And the team, the Birmingham Squadron, is the minor league team to the Pelicans, correct?
Correct.
And the Saints and the Pelicans are both owned by Gail Benson, who is the only woman to own two professional teams. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
In the United States.
Yeah. Fascinating.
What has it been like to learn from her and to work with her?
It's been amazing, really. And I'm privileged to be a part of the executive leadership team that we have weekly calls in which she's there and listening and engaged and asking questions. So I know that I have to be prepared and ready and understand what's important to her. And what's important to her is that, one, we're making money, that we're successful, that we're putting fans in the stands, and that we're good community representation of her here in Birmingham and of her organization. And so hopefully we've done that and shown that to her. And I'm just honored and privileged to lead this. And I same enthusiasm I have here is the same enthusiasm I have on those calls. And hopefully she sees our passion here, and that that this is going to be a marathon for us and not a sprint. We're in mile 2, if you will, of year 2. And we've got a little bit more to go to grow and to get into a routine and be successful, but we're going to do that. And having her leadership and investment here is tremendous. She was here last month for the Birmingham Business Journal Summit, and people got to hear her story. It was my first opportunity to meet her. And I was just pleased when I went to New Orleans 2 weeks later that she remembered my name and my position, and we had lots to talk about. So I look forward to continuing to learn from her and grow from her and see the success of not only us, but the continued success of the Saints and Pelicans, and go from there. Yeah.
That's exciting. Can you share with us a little bit more about what the future looks like for the Birmingham Squadron? What's your vision for the team?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're in year two. We are continuing to grow. And I think the biggest thing for us is the engagement in the community so people know who we are. Year one was a little bit of a setback given that we started the season a little bit later because of the great renovations to Legacy Arena. We wanted to make sure those were in place. And the season was condensed, so a lot of games were back to back. So year two has provided an opportunity for us to walk right in at the start of the regular season, which was November 6th, all the way through March 25th. And so for those games to be spread out a little bit more over the course of the season, and for us to be more engaged in community outreach than last year because of COVID restrictions being lifted and our coach wanting to be out there and engaged. And so we're going to do that. So year two is great, but year three is going to be even better because I think we're going to have, I know we're going to have more engagement in the community. People are going to know who we are. We're going to be out there putting tickets in people's hands, getting corporate partnerships involved in what we're doing. And then the team success is hopefully going to be the same as it was in year one with a playoff experience for us. And people love to follow a winning team. And so we've got I don't do anything with coaching X's and O's. I do have an opinion given my background in basketball. And if coach ever asks, I'll be glad to share it. But that's his area of responsibility. My area of responsibilities is the engagement in the community, putting fans in the stands. And once the fans are there, for it to be a great experience for them. And it is. And it's our crowds are loud and proud and want to see a winner, and we're trying to get there.
So I'd like to go a little bit more into those different levels of engagement. So we'll start with the fans. So what does that look like? What are the season ticket options, and how does one get involved in that regard?
Yeah, so we have a 24-game home schedule. We have opportunities for people to put their feet on the floor and sit courtside and high five the athletes when they come by and see a dunk up close. And then we have the regular seating in the lower bowl. And then we have upper seating for group sales and tickets there. So whatever level that you want to engage in at the game, you can. We've been successful with our groups, and it's a great opportunity for people to come out, have a social event experience. We promote them on video boards and through PA reads, and so shout outs are always welcome. We have in-game entertainment from a mic man who's giving away prizes and highlighting the success of the team. So that's been fun. And there's opportunities for groups to come out too and play at halftime or perform dance routines, baton routines, whatever it may be. If you want to be a color guard, if you have an organization that has color guard, we've got a lot of junior ROTC programs coming out. So there's lots of opportunities for fans to engage in our games and have a great experience and maybe walk away with a leave behind. So like we've given away caps, we've given away scarves, T-shirts, those type of things. So it's really a family-friendly experience with high-level basketball involved.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
And if someone wanted to get involved behind the scenes, what does that look like?
I'm a big fan and have always been a big fan of people who want to learn what we're doing, either through an internship or a paid position, or just coming in for the day and spending a day with us to live the life of a general manager or being a part of a team. I've always welcomed individuals to do that, and we certainly have some here at the Squadron for folks to do. For me, it's growing that next generation of college administrators and providing young people an opportunity to really figure out before they get too deep in their studies or career to see if this is something that they want to do. I will say, I always share this with people I'm recruiting, athletics is, there's no other experience out there in the business. It's great. It's fun. It's engaging. I mean, it's everything you would want. I mean, I tell people I get paid to go to basketball games or to go play golf, to be out in the community. And they're just like, wow, that's great. But it is hard work. There's long hours. There's not traditional hours. There's time away from your family. For it's low pay. Sometimes it is a grind, but I tell you, come and be a part of it. We'll give you all the free food and gear that you want. We'll pay you a minimal salary. You'll get to watch and support a team that's going to be a winner. And if that's something that you want to stay in, it's a wonderful life experience and career if that's what you want to do. And I'm happy to help people do that and see that and learn from it. So reach out to me. Let me know.
Okay, awesome. You also mentioned that the team is very involved and wants to become even more involved in the Birmingham community. And now that some COVID restrictions have been lifted, what do those opportunities look like? Because we have so many of our listeners that work for very large corporations here in Birmingham. You mentioned Children's Hospital. We have a lot of our Momentum graduates who are in the administration of very valuable nonprofits here in the community that could probably benefit from that level of interaction, and also with the schools. So what do some of those community outreach opportunities look like for you?
Really, it's limitless. So, if people have an opportunity for us to come and engage with our team, whether it's reading to a classroom, visiting with veterans at the VA hospital, coming to the Children's Hospital to engage with them, sign autographs, take pictures. We've been out to schools for cleanups. It's just really whatever you can dream of, and we can make happen with the player schedules. We will. I will share too, not only with the team, but there's also engagement in arena too for corporations, nonprofits. We have a nonprofit of the night if you're interested in engaging there and getting your community out and about. There's space in our arena for events for corporations to have holiday parties or leadership training, development, and then stay for the game. There's opportunities to have a court of dream if you have some youth teams out there that want to come and play on the Squadron court at Legacy Arena. There's that. There's opportunities to, again, be the color guard, sing the national anthem, all types of outreach. There's also, if you have businesses that you want to amplify your media outreach through television or through advertisements in arena, there's those opportunities to do that as well. We can certainly have those conversations and share with you what our vision is for the Squadron with community outreach and partnerships, and see if that's something that you're interested in.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate so much the leadership that you are providing for the team, the involvement that you have in this community. It's so exciting to see Birmingham grow in this way, and I am kind of double down excited. I just got to say that you're at the head of it, and just an extraordinary woman and an extraordinary role model and example for many others.
Well, I will share with you that we are having a women's empowerment night, and we've talked to you guys already, but we welcome other organizations to be involved with that too. And I am remiss of not knowing the night of it, but it is a future game, and we can certainly share that out there with your colleagues and people listening in, and would love to have people come out and be a part of that. I think it's going to be pretty special.
I appreciate that, and we will definitely add that into the show notes when we publish out to our YouTube channel and also to our podcast channel. So thank you for that.
Great.
Yep. Exciting. Well, it's been wonderful speaking with you today, Leslie, and I wish you all the best for the season, and I am so excited to see where this goes and where our partnership can go together.
Thanks, April. I appreciate the time, and we want to be big supporters of Momentum and other women here in Birmingham. So just let us know how we can do that, and we'll partner together.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Leslie. Take care.
Thanks, April.